What's going on, everybody? My name is Lamont. I've been a full-time trader for about 6 years now. I've been with the Chart Guys team for about half of that time, where I head up our futures room and the swing report. This week, we're going to go over a couple of trades that we took last week in the swing report. One was a good one was a bust, and then we'll also cover a name that was an older pick, but it's one of the names that have worked out pretty well, and it was a member request. They're still trading this name or holding on to a runner and just were wondering how to manage it, so we'll go over all of that. Without further ado, let's get into it. So the first thing that I would like to talk about is this GDX trade that we did, because it's a really great example of the pretty much the a very idyllic setup for the session to session setup that you hear me talk about all the time, which is really just buying the open if value is moving higher, depending on the context, or selling the open if value is moving lower, again, depending on the context. And in this specific context, it's pretty ideal, because on this session is when we bought the open, and I can show you the play-by-play here. Marked it up for some promo material. You may have seen it. Hopefully you're not too bothered by the spam. Right, hopefully you don't even consider it spam. But here's the play-by-plays for all of that stuff. Everything is timestamped. All of this, you can pause the video if you like and check the timestamp and look at the information or whatever, but this is it. And so let me walk you through the concept of it. So first things first, the idea is that you're set to gap up open over multiple resistances, right? You have pretty much a triple top here, right? And so if you do break this high, right, which you're about to gap over, then you're gonna clear out all the stops for people who had stops here, which is probably everybody from here, right? And then if you look to your left, this candle is pretty much a one direction candle. And so if you force these people to start closing out and stopping out, these people are going to start being forced out as well. You squeeze them out. And then you'll notice after you squeeze these people out, you get more follow through on that. And then on this selling, where's this low? This low is pretty much the high of this candle. Why? Because this move was these sellers being squeezed out. This move was the sellers trying to counter that. And that's all they could get, right? Letting you know, okay, well, the sellers are not very strong here, and then we eventually we see higher highs. And now normally we keep these updates in the private realm until the trade completes, but it's practically at the target already. And is, oh, by the way, the swing report is designed for people who with a longer term mindset as well. This is our bigger trade zone. This is not the trade that I took, and there's pros and cons to it. It's not right or wrong, right? Like this is I traded like this for a long time when I was primarily a swing trader. Now I day trade, and so the Chart Guys team, typically how we like to swing trade is we try to nail a day trade, and then if we can get a lot of profits on the day trade, then we'll swing a partial position on it. But the swing report is going to give you both. You're going to get this big macro setup zone, right, with targets and entry zone, stops, whatever, and you're also going to get these live play-by-play updates if you're a more active trader, or if you just want to learn. If you want to follow along and learn, then you can see how we captured this honestly monster move. And this is not the first time that we've done this. We also captured this move. We also captured this move. This one was like a nothing kind of a trade, but this one was a pretty decent win. So anyway, in this one, now we're still swinging, right? So pros and cons, right? If you just use the macro setup, then you're just sitting in this, you're doing fine, you're walking the stop up, you're taking profits, whatever, and you didn't have to work as much as I did, right? Like, because we had to make attempts 3 times before we actually got one that we were swinging. I mean, they're all good trades on the session, but they didn't turn into swing trades. Whereas if you were just building a position in the trade zone with your stop under here, you're doing fine now, right? So anyway, that's yeah, that was the GDX trade. And yeah, and I do want to point out too that the next thing we tried the same exact kind of concept in Oracle, and we failed, right? Simple as that. We stopped it out because it was on this session. It's also similar context. We had gapped up on this day. So if we were to gap and then continue to press on from there, then they should have tried to come here, the value area high test over here, 118.52, which is what happened throughout all of this back here. And so we tried to buy this open on this session. That was the 29th. 29th. I bought this pass back over the open and then stopped it out later on this day. I didn't get any profit taking. And the reason why I include this is, well, it's twofold. One is because, well, we've been talking about trading Oracle in these public updates. And then two, I want to show juxtapose this trade, right? Because it's so asymmetrical, this GDX trade, right? You're only ever risking something like 0.5%, if that, right? Like a third of a percent. And your returns are, the first chop, I forget, was something like this. So you're getting like 2% on that. And then now, you're very comfortable here. And so for the Oracle attempt, even though we were wrong, look at how much you're wrong, right? Like, look, what is your stop out here? Your stop out is, let's see, the 29th. The stop was 0.33%, So when you're wrong very insignificantly. And when you're right, you can be right in a really meaningful way, So that's the idea. And so also now with Oracle, there is this. It's a very reasonable play again, Like that. To be honest, there's a lot of interesting plays for this swing report this week. So I don't know if I will prioritize this again, but you can run that same exact play on Monday if you get a strong open above today's point of control, right? If you get a nice strong open over today's point of control, ideally you don't even come back down into it, right? Pass back over the open. You can buy that open. Throw your stop under there. It's going to be very low risk. And if it does, if they do press on from here, again, they should be trying to come here. 118.52. Okay. So that's Oracle. Just, full disclosure, they're not all winners, but if you manage your risk appropriately and you only ever take very asymmetrical setups, you will be fine. You'll be more than fine. Okay, so that's pretty much it. And then CRM is just a request from a member. They held throughout all of this. So this was our original trade zone. The trade zone was designed when we were still balancing in here. And then it worked here. It worked again over here. And so apparently we still have people who are in it, which is amazing. Diamond hands, good for you. I mean, I don't want to encourage just diamond handing it, but if you manage your risk appropriately through all of this, chop, phenomenal. Nice job. Anyway, so what I would do now is ideally you've already taken profits. You didn't mention anything about that, so I don't know. If you've not already done so, it's time. 30% from the middle of the trade zone. It's definitely time to take some profits. That being said, it's looking pretty good, right? Like it's one of the tech names. Tech is one of the lead sectors. It's a huge weekly rip. At this point, anything over 193.68 is going to be good for a weekly higher low. And so if you've already taken profits, you can have your stop like here, 207-ish, and you'll be fine because you see how this is a huge area of volume here. If you trade back down through all of this, that's problematic, right? And so for any remaining position, you can hide your stop here. Wait for weekly consolidation, which it won't be fun to sit through it because your remaining position will see drawdown. But as long as they don't trade through here, they're positioned very well for a higher low into a potential higher high. The monthly time frame also looks quite good. Monthly higher low and higher high here, higher low into a higher high. So yeah, if you've already taken your profits here, or at any point really, because you definitely shouldn't have waited any later than the actual official target. So if you've already booked your profits, like I said, you can hide your stop under that big old volume shelf. 206-ish, 207.5-ish, right? And if you have no position on this, you really just don't want to see the sellers get back through this gap. Like at this point now, you're waiting for a daily higher low bare minimum if you're trying to get into this now. And so what you'd like to see is a move into this gap that doesn't see follow through all the way down here, pop back over it, look for a higher low play once you get an incomplete gap fill. Okay, so that is pretty much it. So I hope that's helpful. Appreciate you guys tuning in. If you would like to get these trade ideas sent to you weekly, if you would like to get live updates sent to you as they form, sometimes every day, sometimes every couple of days, it really depends on the trade ideas. Give us some report shot. Links are in the description below. Dan is on the team, and George's on the team, Joe's on the team, and Dan is wrapping up his swing trading into 2024 and beyond. So I imagine he'll be more involved. And we very regularly do an alley-oop kind of a thing where he's like, "Hey, Lamont, maybe you should check this out," and then I'll set up an idea around his intuitive feel, because his intuitive feel is quite good. So yeah, that's pretty much GDX was like that. GDX was I was thinking about doing something else, which it did turn out okay as well, but yeah, not as well as GDX has done for us. So anyway, that's pretty much it. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Thanks for sharing some of your time and energy with me. Hope to see you guys soon. Farewell.